Join ABF Fam in Apple Podcast to listen to African Folktales with Miss Jojo 1 week early before everyone else.
ABF Creator.
Hello, my little ones. My name is Miss Jojo, and you're listening to African Folktales. Hop inside my magical Jeep with me as we explore African lands where animals talk and people fly. Are you ready? Get in! Make sure your seatbelt is on. The only thing we want to let loose is your imagination. Let's set the destination for our next story. Here we go! Hang on! Today, our magic Jeep takes us to a market where there was an old woman who sold the best soup in the market. Make sure to listen closely for the bell. The bell will ring when I say the magic word of the story. Listen all the way to the end to discover if you guessed the magic word right. Long, long ago, there lived an old woman who sold the best chicken soup in the market. Nobody knew the old woman's name. Nobody even knew where she lived. Nobody knew why her chicken soup was always the best in the market and why it was so hot. But people did not seem to care. Tons of people bought the soup and ate it every single day. Every morning, the old woman came to the market square. She carried a big black pot of the hot chicken soup on her head. Then she sat down under a tree, and it did not take her long to sell her soup. There lived a small boy not far from the market square. His name was Kalari. He liked the soup very much, and he wanted to know where the old woman came from. So he came up with a plan to get even more of it. The next day, when the old woman sold all her soup and put her empty pot on her head, Kalari followed her home. But she did not see him. They went for a long, long way. They crossed a river, walked through high grass. Then they climbed up a very high hill. As they were traveling, it started getting dark, and Kalari was afraid. But he just could not get that delicious soup off his mind, so he kept going. At last, the old woman came to a little hut on that high hill, and outside of the hut stood a very large pot. "This pot is huge," thought Kalari. When the old woman went into the hut, Kalari went up to the pot and looked into it, and to his surprise, it was empty. Then the old woman came out of the hut. Kalari quickly hid himself. The old woman came to the large pot and she began to chant. "Magic pot, make hot soup for me, make hot soup for me. Make soup with chicken, make soup with chicken. Make this soup for me to sell, make this soup for me to sell. And for people to buy, and for people to buy. Magic pot, magic pot." Very soon, the soup was ready and steam came out of the pot. The smell of the soup was so good, and Kalari was very hungry. You could hear his stomach growling. Then the old woman went back into her hut. Kalari came up to the pot. He looked under it, and there was no fire there. But the pot was full of hot chicken soup. "I must have some of it. I am so hungry," Kalari said to himself, and put his hand into the pot to take a piece of chicken. But suddenly, the old woman came out of her hut. she saw Kalari with his hand in the pot. "Oh, oh, oh," she cried. "Oh, oh, oh, my last ingredient has arrived." Kalari ran down the hill as quickly as he could. The old woman ran after him, but she could not catch him. Kalari ran and at last came home. He told his parents about the old woman on the hill and her magic pot. They looked at the hill and saw the steam from the pot in the sky. "Yes, we see the steam of the magic pot," they said. From that day on, the old woman stopped coming to the market with her soup. Nobody went up that hill to see her. They were afraid of the old woman. But now, when the people see clouds round the hill, they say, "Look, there is the steam from the magic pot." Moral of the story is don't be so hungry for chicken soup or you might just become it. Did you hear the bell? Did you discover the magic word of the story? If you said huge, you are right. Huge is spelled H-U-G-E. Huge is a word to describe something that is very big, like the magic pot Kalari almost ended up in. Thanks for taking this trip with me today. I can't wait for you to travel to the next story with me. African Folktales is produced by ABF Creative. To learn more about the show, go to abfc.co/folktales. If you loved this show, then tell someone you know. Our magical Jeep journeys are more fun when you can bring your friends along. Thanks for listening. Bye!